Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 634 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda, and today I am unsurprisingly joined by Chris DeBona.
Hi.
And Rob Roseboom.
I'm not surprised.
You're not surprised. We discussed it extensively in a Discord channel throughout the morning.
Yep.
It is exactly to be expected. All right, gentlemen. We talked about the carrier injecting ads into two-factor authentication. Oh, Chris, are you even allowed to talk about this? It is Google related.
I'm talking about it.
All right, well, okay.
Everyone's trying to be real gentle about this, but this carrier should be taken behind the woodshed and put out of its misery.
So
that's all I'm going to say.
Here's my fundamental problem with this. I don't know where it starts, but the fact that somewhere around 1999 we decided that ISPs would be allowed to redirect DNS into ad systems, like that's just a horrible precedent.
That's a terrible precedent.
So now
8.8.8 and 8.8.4.4 are the Google DNSs, and people are like, I don't want Google tracking. We don't track that shit. Just go use a good DNS. Stop screwing around with your Comcast provided or T-Mobile provided. Not T-Mobile, they're all right, but like you go Comcast provided DNS. It's a disaster. It's such a mess.
I use a different one. I don't use the Gooch one, but I use
which one do you use?
I don't even remember which one I use. I chose one of the other ones that was not the Gooch. Gooch knows everything about me.
You could also maybe use, I bet you Easy DNS probably operates some that are super freedom oriented or something. I'm sure there's ones out there.
I don't honestly remember which one I put in. It's not even a matter of trust. It's just a matter of Gooch has everything. They have my email. That's okay. They know my soul.
I get it. I'm cool with that. Honestly, so long as you're not using Comcast or what is it, Frontier, where you guys are. What the hell is your bankrupt ISP called?
I'm Comcast out here, and the first thing I do is get off their DNS.
I'm Frontier, but I don't think anyone there is sophisticated enough to do this.
You're just happy if packets are routing at this point.
The bits happened. So anyway, this is fast forward now, and now it's okay somehow for the phone companies which are now, I guess, the straight up analog to the DNS server hosters with your ISPs circa turn of the millennia. It's now okay for them to tack text on to an SMS with an advertisement, which is in and of itself the most crappy thing that you can do. But then the shit icing on the shit cake to do that in two-factor authentication notifications. Oh, the rage in my heart.
And also, let's be clear, this is borderline useless as a device for making phone calls or receiving phone calls, I should say, because if my phone rings and Google doesn't catch that it's a scam call, there's only a couple people who actually call me who I pick up for.
Yeah.
Everyone else I just let fall on the floor because there's nothing good coming over voice anymore. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to do that to SMS. And I'm like, do you want to drive more people over to WhatsApp and the rest? This is the way to do it, dummy.
Yep.
But
I mean, okay, SMS is already screwed on so many levels. Yesterday, I got a text from a rando saying okay, just the words okay, but it was CCing 20 different random phone numbers. Yeah. And then the next thing what happens is 5 of the 20 people send a text back. I don't want this. Don't do this. And
unsubscribe.
There was hundreds of text messages sent. Not a single one was wanted by anybody. This is a ruined system that we're all obligated to use.
So you're saying they might as well stick an ad on it?
As Chris said, 90% of them were probably unsubscribed.
Yeah.
Which is the exact opposite thing you should do if you don't want them to contact you anymore.
Yep.
Because you've just alerted them that you will answer.
Yep. But without getting even into the idea that using an SMS, the notoriously insecure SMS system for two-factor authentication, you're ruining it, Chris.
Sorry.
You gotta fiddle with that window size, don't you? There you go.
Back where it was.
I don't know, man. Just the fact that we use it this way, creating security illusion, security theater, And this is, in the case of SMS, it's actually kind of worse because of how easy it is to clone those things. You hear stories every day about people who are getting their phones cloned and their stuff stolen because they're using SMS-based 2FA. And this is, well, maybe this is good then. Maybe this tells people that this is a bad system and we just can't use it anymore.
Yeah, boy. What a mess.
Angry. Speaking of somebody's angry about the next one, but it ain't me because this is funny as hell. The IBM email fiasco. So IBM sold the Lotus Notes business.
They spun out their messaging business, Notes, and some other products into something called HCL, which is, of course, IBM, like one letter up or down. So they don't spell HAL.
They go the other way?
They go the other way for one letter and one way for the other, but this is a spin out. And they're like, oh, we're definitely going to continue to use our spin out software here at the IBM company, you know? And then this happened.
Well, if they're a owned subsidiary, they must have spun out. They must have done an IPO or something. They must have taken some separate funding.
No, I don't know if they've taken extra funding.
Well, then they're wholly owned.
They got all the contracts. They spun out. I'm sure IBM owns the stock or something. I don't know the story is with this dumb company.
Okay, well, the key point here is that IBM spun out or sold or whatever their entire email business and then didn't bother to migrate to anything else. And all of their email got end of life support level because they didn't bother upgrading, which is, of course, a familiar experience to anybody who's worked in any form of IT over the years. You know, you're always having software that you're dogging about, oh, come on, I'll just upgrade later. But, you know, this is like years out of date. And oh my God.
This is such a confusing company. Like, I'd never heard of this company before this fiasco. Like, were they like...
Yeah.
They're like a roll-up for IBM crap technology. I mean, IBM's...
It's a tax avoidance strategy in some way.
Big Fix, Unica. What the heck is Unica? Is that like Spanish?
It doesn't matter.
Marketing automation. Oh, that. Oh, I think I know somebody who works on that. Commerce Portal, Notes and Domino, and Connections for workstream collaboration. You know, if I worked at IBM, I probably would recognize all these tools as being the ones I'm forced to use to work there.
Right.
You know. Oh.
Once your company crosses $1 billion, you're too cool to use the standard stuff and you code your own.
Well, no, it's like, at Amazon, they have Chime and, at Google, we have Meets, but
I figured you guys were all still using Wave.
No. We spun Wave out into Apache as an open source project like 10 years ago, man. Nobody misses Wave.
Nobody misses Wave. You know what would be funny is I almost feel like Wave could almost work in this era. Just like fundamentally, it was 10 years ahead and it was so friggin' slow.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes to. Wave was so slow to use. So maybe CPUs have caught up so that, if you're rendering Wave inside a Chrome window, it's like Slack, right? So, Slack has a lot of the Wave-like things.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were just too early. We were too advanced,
That's right. Oh, I feel that way all the time, Chris. That's how I rationalize all of my bad decisions.
Yeah. Timing is half the battle sometimes.
That's true. But anyway, this story just made me laugh. I'm glad that I feel bad for those guys because that there's a bunch of IT workers that are just screwed, staying up long nights and having to update and emergency migrate data and stuff. And that sucks for them.
HCL is 168,000 ideapreneurs or employees across 50 countries.
That's a lot of ideapreneurs. That's a lot of people who have a job I didn't know existed.
Well, the thing is, there's plenty of big contracting firms, but I've never heard of this one. That's so weird. There's probably a Wikipedia page.
But you know what? Internally, they probably I'm sure this was created to avoid taxes in some way, or to make them eligible for a contract or something. And it just sucks. That's funny. Actually, I haven't looked at this one. So Noah, what's his name? Noah Hawley?
Oh, no. It's an Indian firm. This is like a Tata competitor. Oh, okay. So HCL Technologies Limited is formerly Hindustan Computers Limited. So it wasn't even an IBM backronym.
No, they just sold them notes.
Founded in 1976. Wow. Okay. You know, there's probably tons of like these Indian companies are huge. You know. Wow.
160,000 ideapreneurs.
Well, I mean, yeah, right. They make $11 billion in revenue a year. They're publicly traded. I mean, okay.
Yep.
There you go.
Bam.
You know, this is probably not a great advertisement for their services.
Nope. But I think it's probably equally the fault of IBM for not prioritizing whatever they had to do. I was like, hey guys, you have 3 years. Maybe just do it.
Well, what's weird about this is, you know, IBM is a huge federal and contractor for, you know, so they put like Lotus Notes, they put Domino into all these places. So now, did they just pass those contracts to HCL? Are they the prime and are HCL the secondary? And what does this say about their administration? You know, I say this, but then I think back to like the 80s when they had the IRS contract or the FAA contract, the next generation air traffic control contract.
Oh God!
And it was basically $100 billion dropped on the floor and set on fire. And they're still around, you know. So it's like, you know, maybe there's no harm, no foul. In these
when the customer is the government, it turns out things are a little different.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, boy.
All right, so there's going to be an Alien TV show.
Yeah. So what? Where is this?
Right there.
Okay.
And you shared this one, but I'm
Zen did.
Oh, did he? All right. Well, I'm skeptical of this, but Noah Hawley, the first couple of seasons of Legion are so friggin' amazing. I'll follow this guy. I'll watch a season of anything, even if it was an alien.
Yeah. This is not a Ripley story. She's one of the great characters of all time. I think the story's been told pretty perfectly, and I don't want to mess with it.
So it's going to be a prequel.
Set on Earth, and what happens when the systems in place fail to contain the ultimate killing machine. So is he trying to do the whole, you know, in space, no one can hear you scream. On Earth, everyone can, you know, which was going to be the original Alien 3, right? Is he going to kick that thing off here? What do you know, Zen? What do you know?
I don't know anything about it. I didn't even read it. I just saw the headline.
You're like, oh, this is definitely one for us.
This is an alien thing because alien.
I mean, I appreciate with all the latest Alien verse movies that they're trying to add more backstory and to make it a little richer and stuff. But quite frankly, Prometheus sucked.
Oh, boy, it sucked.
And
there was a movie after Prometheus.
Yes, I know.
And it made Prometheus look good. And that's how bad it was.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm hoping they just get back to sort of the formula and say, you know, perhaps it wasn't the rich backstory of Alien that made the franchise popular, and we should just focus on, you know, giving people what they want, an interesting alien story.
Right. An interesting alien that kills people and makes you scared.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I will say, Noah, his work on Fargo. Have you watched Fargo?
I thought the first 2 seasons I watched. I didn't like the second season as much, but the first season was awesome.
There's some really good seasons of Fargo.
Wow. Yeah. Like, just it's a different level of, frankly, filmmaking than what you see in so much. It's like, you know, there's the Breaking Bads, there's the Fargos, and you're just like, they're just playing a different game. You know,
that's the golden age of television, man.
Than 2.5 Men, you know, or
right,
you know, or any of these. Well, there's so many bad TV shows.
Almost anything on network TV.
Yeah. Well, you know, what does network TV even mean anymore? You know,
broadcasts over towers.
I don't know if that's a thing, man. You know?
They still broadcast digitally, man. There's still ATSC towers.
Sure. Let's go with that. All right. What else we got?
Let's see.
Parents of children called Alexa challenge Amazon.
Oh.
Challenge them what? To the duel to the death?
Yep, death match. Kids are being teased because their names are Alexa, and so is Alexa's name. And so, like, they're right. That's a fair problem for these kids because that name is ruined. Probably even more so. I was trying to think of comparisons, but the closest comparison I could come up to is Karen. Because
my cousin Karen's really nice.
Yeah.
And I feel terrible whenever somebody says, "Oh, look at Karen and Ken doing their thing." You know? I'm like, "Oh, but my cousin Karen's super, super great." You know, she would never do that stuff. You know,
I guess the solution is not to name your kid Alexa.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say about this story.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they did. If you look at the naming charts, like Karen has fallen off, Alexa has fallen off. The people
Cortana. No one's calling their kids. Okay, Google. You know.
No one's calling their kids Grunhilde anymore.
That's true.
I mean, good German names are disappearing.
Yep. How long has it been since you spoke to an Adolf?
Right? Yeah.
Or Gertrude.
Yeah, imagine if Amazon had instead called their assistant Adolf Hitler.
No.
Oh, that would be great.
No, but then they couldn't sell them in Germany.
Yeah, they would have had trouble. Okay, Hitler.
You know, the funny thing is that I'm sure that in the next generation of show, all the wiretaps will have a custom keyword, right, to trigger them. I think actually Alexa already has that. I think that's what they were saying in this article. But like, it's one of those things. Nobody changes the defaults. But I just imagine that there will be college frat houses and such where their wiretap devices are named like horrible things. It's like all of the my kitchen is like a open floor plan thing or whatever, and it has my wife's loft. The kitchen and the dining room are all together, and so in the smart home we called it the fucking, so that you can turn on the fucking lights. And there's nothing more adorable than watching your little 9-year-old walk into the room. Turn on the fucking lights.
You guys are killing me.
It's awesome. Anyway, I don't know. These are the weird unintended side effects that I don't think that people ever really think about when they're developing these sorts of things. You know, like that's weird. That's like a second tier problem or a second ring of problems. Man, sucks for those kids.
Yeah, I do. I have nothing but sympathy for those kids, you know. But when I named my kid Google, it was a real problem too.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
So
the problem is that by doing so, your child then inherited like all of the unvested stock of every employee, which worked out pretty well.
Yeah, because that's a thing. All right, so popular baby names. Let's go to the Social Security site. Let's look up.
Liam is way up.
Oh yeah, Liam and Olivia, dude. Like that's been true for years. I mean, I have probably 3 Liams of friends I know. I mean, I didn't have anything to do with it.
Oh, poor Harper. He's number 10 female name.
Oh, well, I'll tell Harper about that. Popular name. Okay, Alexa. Go. All right, so here we go. Still very popular.
But look at that fall off.
Oh, yeah. Okay, rank 30. Oh boy.
Yeah. All I know is when I was so picky that when my kids were born, when we selected the name, we looked up on one of these websites and picked the most common spelling just to like simplify that sort of thing, because both of my kids had alternate spellings. And we wanted to make sure that we had the easiest one. Let's not make your first interaction with my children be awkward for no particular reason. Peanut.
Nope, no one actually named their kid.
Well, there's like Khaleesi shows up in these things now.
Okay, well, that's good.
Not in the.
Well, it's not in the top 1,000.
Also, I don't think that's how you spell it.
Yeah, not in that spelling.
Okay, let's wait and see how long it takes him to DuckDuckGo how to spell Khaleesi.
Okay, DuckDuckGo. Duck. No name Duck.
Yeah, if it's only tracking the top 1,000 names, you're not going to get the.
Yeah. No Cortanas.
Turns out Jaws isn't in that top 1,000 either. So
it's offensive.
Yep.
I hate it.
No one's calling their kids Frankenstein anymore. What's the world coming to?
Francis, though, I bet you is still in there.
Francis, that should be falling off the Deadpool, right?
Oh, no, 435, so 481. You know, it had a little peak in 2010. I wonder why.
That's a valley.
Oh, you're right. It's on the ascent.
It's been level now since 2014.
It's a level.
Francis, man.
What about all the saint names? You know, James. Oof.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
That's actually on the rise. Look at that.
Ugh,
Up from
awful.
18th to 6th. Uh-oh, Chris, you're on the fall. Yeah.
Boy.
But back in 2000, man, you were the bomb. Top 10.
1971, for me. But yeah, it's my wife and I, we have such common names. We had to give our kids better names.
Yeah, well, check the Robs want to know.
Oh, right, Robert.
Christopher Roberts, Christopher Robin.
Well, 29.
We're on the decline, Rob.
What about Robin?
You're telling me.
Wow, these are the only years that it came above 1,000.
Well, I mean, that makes sense too. How many Robins do you know that aren't in the Bee Gees?
Or
that are rocking too hard?
Okay. Well, we've had fun with the naming thing. Let's keep going.
So Tim Berners-Lee, who I posted Tim Berners-NFT, has sold an NFT of the source code for like the first web browser, or was it the web server, for
server, I think.
$5.43 million for the NFT. For nothing.
Of money or of Ethereum?
I mean, they always convert it, to dollars, because that's the headline that gets people to click on it. Because if you said they bought 6,000 magic money, nobody would know what it was really worth. I don't know. I assume it's Ethereum. Isn't all the NFT stuff happening on Ethereum now?
I thought it was all on the Ethereum chain. So.
Yeah, that's weird. He's like, what? But he like wrote a story, and they printed out a poster, and there was actually a story going around that the poster might actually have mistakes in it, because it's got a formatting thing, and they apparently like translated some of the special characters from the code. So apparently the poster is just wrong. 9,555 lines of code.
Yeah, I've actually, I've been to CERN where that machine was. They have like a little plaque outside the office.
Was it a cube, or was it one of the newer Next models?
I believe it was a Next slab, but I'm not sure. Honestly, it's been a long time.
Sure.
Here, I can look that up.
In your photo archives.
Web server. Well, I could go to the photo archives. I think I took a picture of the plaque actually. First web server. Sir Tim. Yeah, cube.
I always liked the cube. We had one of those back in the first, or the Holland downtown office, and I think we ended up throwing it away or giving it away, and that always made me sad, because I always wanted to burn it, because it was they're made of magnesium and they burn green.
Yeah. Well, there's some great videos of people burning Next cubes, and they can't put them out, until they're all done.
Wah.
It's magnesium fires for you. Yeah, Sir Tim's all right. I don't begrudge him any.
No, good on him. I suppose over the years he's probably cashed many checks for his role in this, but 5 million bones is pretty damn nice for the guy.
No, good for him. But the thing is, he's working on this thing. It's called Solidity or something.
Is this one of the various efforts to improve truthiness on the internet?
I don't remember. Let's see now. What does Solid do? Oh, social linked data. Basically, he's just ringing the semantic bell again. It's like,
but he's combining the semantics and the blockchain, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, there's like a blockchain angle to this too, or something. So, I'm just not into it.
Well, it's hard when they're so abstract.
You've heard me rant about this, right? The reason the web was incredibly successful is that you didn't have to go back to a central committee to do something on the web. Right, with the exception of DNS, right? Yeah, it's like you could just stand up a server, and boom, you're publishing.
Yep.
Right? No one can tell you no.
That's right.
And it's
It
like
stands in stark contrast to the world that we live in today, with all the walled gardens and all the various. You got like I was talking to the Pearl a Pearl Mongers group a few days ago, and I was thinking about how the story that I was trying to tell, and I probably explained it poorly because I am not a good communicator, but I was talking about how I had to fix the code in the web Perl module that handled cookies because it was incompatible with one particular browser. But what that leads to is you're writing your own code to solve that one particular problem. Maybe there's a module that fixes it, but who cares? You don't got that kind of time, right? But then that trickles down where you have to like retain the state of your forms. You have to create user accounts. You have to create each of these individual steps. So you need to invent CAPTCHA. Like all of these little components that didn't exist circa 1999. So you just made it up however you wanted to do. In 2021, every single thing that we invented is a module that you can download or a thing that you can get off of GitHub. But one by one, each of those things gets you locked into, well, now I'm using whatever this platform is or whatever this framework or whatever. And so it gets increasingly tied down. I don't know, man. It wouldn't work like that today. Now it's different. We've got
Wire. You have all these super apps like the WeChats and the rest, where everything is being funneled through WeChat. Honestly, it's kind of a measure of Facebook's influence on the positive and the negative that they haven't become WeChat in the United States, because what's been holding them back? Because everyone has Facebook. It's funny because this whole fight with Apple, between Facebook and Apple, around the ad tracking cookies, I have to admit, I'm like, what is it about? Why does Facebook even need the ad tracking cookie? When do people leave their app that they care about?
I think that it has to do with the fact that just allows them to get the external
remarketing to the other apps.
No, I mean like if they can get information from okay, you browse CNN and Amazon and you can get the article that you read on CNN, you can add 0.02% effectiveness to your recommendation algorithm, which probably is $1 billion next year. I mean,
so I have to tell you, Rob, that just shows how little you understand.
Yeah, or how honest I am.
There's no money in news.
There's
no money in giving.
I apologize for using the news as the example, but the point is that those tracking beacons exist in every single web page on the site. So it doesn't. I'm sorry I used the news, but the fact that you chose to grasp onto the fact that I mentioned the news and ignore the fact that those icons, that those things exist on every single web page, they only serves to prove that you are trying to deny the power that these platforms hold.
No. What I'm trying to say is that I'm shocked that Facebook didn't look at this ad tracking thing and say, who cares? We're already on every site.
Oh, for
We're
sure.
already on every app. So I don't care if Apple says, hey, I'm not going to tie together this app and that app and this web page. It seems to me like they shouldn't give any craps about it. They should, if anything, embrace it and say, oh, yeah, no problem.
Well, that's the other thing, too, is that the entrenched, they have the power. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
they don't like this. Actually, does more damage to the little guys than it does to the big guys.
It makes the likelihood of someone else unseating them extremely slim.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, I'm just waiting, because it's not like they don't know it. I'm wondering why they're fighting this dumb, stupid fight. And I wonder how they didn't execute internally on something that led them to become dependent on Apple and their ad tracking beacon.
Yeah, that's
it's just weird, because usually Facebook's actually pretty good at executing.
Apple's interesting too, though, because all the math is that the wealthier folks are using the iOS devices. So
sure,
it's probably just a matter of it's worth having this fight because this 10% of the user pool, contains the 2% of people who are the whales that are making them the money.
Well, so Apple has 15% of the global market, and a lot of people think they have probably triple that of the wealthy people, maybe even more. right? So, but also all those people are also using Facebook. It's just like,
Oh, sure. Well, and also
who
all of
isn't
those people
using
have a
Facebook?
Gmail account too.
I mean, I passive aggressively use Facebook. I don't follow anyone or let anyone follow me or tag me or anything, but I visit Facebook probably once a week. You know, it's just, it's impossible to not go on the damn site.
I know. There are 20
You know?
people on Facebook that I need to be connected to.
No, it's not even the people. It's like, Facebook Marketplace. They have so many things that, like, if you want to be a person in a community, you have to get on Facebook. It stinks, but that's just how it is. And I guess that's why everyone's like, oh, they're a monopoly. But it's like, yeah, I guess so. But yeah, I'm shocked that they wanted to waste their juju on this Apple fight.
I don't know that Facebook has juju. I think that they're pretty poorly regarded.
Yeah, you say that, but everyone uses Facebook multiple times a day.
How many times during these chats have we discussed how much we hate our respective ISPs? So when you have a monopoly power, it doesn't matter if the consumer hates it or not. You have to connect to the broader audience. You have to use it. That's the problem.
Also, it's important to remember that we are a very small fringe. Most people don't care about any of the politics of Facebook or any of that crap. They just want to, see what Trump's doing now. They want to share recipes.
Yeah.
For most people, this is a non-issue.
Yeah,
that's true.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm in a rare mood. I think it's because of the allergy medication.
It doesn't matter, man. Who cares?
I'm just like, my eye is just a disaster. I know.
Oh man, it's all good.
The camera's being really kind to me because this eye is.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but I had to put a filter over you. And the live stream, but I mean, it looks it makes you look like you have big anime eyes.
Here. I'll fake one.
There you go. That's a nice looking keyboard.
I bought two identical keyboards so that my fingers wouldn't have to move around too much.
So we've got one more story in here that I just thought was interesting. I actually shared this weirdly enough with my kids, but it's why are gamers so much better than scientists at catching fraud?
Yeah, I didn't read this. What is this about?
Well, I'll tell you because I just think this is really interesting. There's a YouTuber named Dream who my kids are fans of, and I guess he's a big deal. And he got busted for cheating at speedrunning. And it was a whole thing. He denied it, but he had statistician internet folks worked out that the probabilities of him getting the drops that he was getting was like heat death of the universe kind of rare luck. And he denied it for a while, and then eventually admitted that no, he did it. It was a mistake. He swears honest, and all of his records were ripped out of the leaderboards. But the interesting thing about the story is that they were talking about how gamers were, they're so obsessive about these sorts of things that they track the details down. I mean, I watch all the Mario speedrun videos, and you have an expert watch a Mario speedrunner video and they can tell you, well, this guy cheated here for all of these reasons because they're experts in this. And this whole article is explaining how that same level of attention simply doesn't exist in the science community, and how papers are published with just obvious lying in the data, it's just, I don't know. I found this article to be really interesting, and there's not really any sort of answer except that science got to pay more attention, and science ain't gonna because the incentives aren't there.
That's weird.
So all science? I guess what do you mean that science doesn't pay attention?
The peer review process of research papers has allowed for far too many papers with clearly inaccurate data to be published and not contested. So science got to do better about that.
Yeah. Okay. So I got to rant a little bit. This is a very Atlantic story. It's not very good. Okay. It's trying to weave a story that is really, this is almost Malcolm Gladwell level bullshit.
All right.
So they come up with this thing that gamers are better than scientists at spotting fakes and cheaters. And I'm like, you know what? This is a great headline. It's totally attention grabbing.
I shared it with my
Potentially
kids.
very interesting, but it's like you start reading it, you're like, wait a second. Not only does he not understand science, the replication crisis in science, he doesn't understand speedrun records in Minecraft. He says 19 minutes better than all but 4 players. I'm sorry, if you just go to speedrun and you click on Minecraft and you do random seed Minecraft, right? Not set seed, but random seed Minecraft, right? Which is the one that everyone who speedruns Minecraft uses to measure themselves. The best real-time one is 11 minutes and 9 seconds.
There's different sets of rules that they use for speedrunning. The Dream controversy was specifically one class of speedrun for which normal good times was 20 to 23 minutes.
So hardcore 15 minutes.
I have not read this story, but the first thing that pops up to me is a matter of scale.
Oh, like, for sure.
How many people do you think are checking the speedrunners runs versus peer reviewing a scientific paper?
A million to one.
Yeah. So that is the very first thing I think when I see the story,
Absolutely.
I mean, an observed, moderated speed run of hardcore random seed Minecraft. The real time is 15 minutes, 8 seconds. In-game time, 14 minutes, 16 seconds.
There's different tiers. I mean, there's different leaderboards.
They have bad numbers. I mean, in the second paragraph of the article.
As somebody who actually watches these speed runs, you're full of crap. You're picking the wrong part of the story to care about. Because when Dream released the numbers that he did on the particular version of the leaderboard that he was doing, it was a competitive time. Whatever time you're looking at, different tier or 5 years more advanced, more whatever. At the time, it was a big deal. This is like a year and a half ago, and it was all a tizzy amongst the speedrunners that this was happening. But yeah, this is purely a matter of many eyes make shallow bugs. And there are not enough eyes in science. And it turns out there are a lot of people who are willing to watch a 4-minute, 50-second Super Mario Brothers speed run. Yeah. I will watch one of that right now.
and let's be clear, scientists are not magical. They are people who just know a lot about their particular subject. And I guarantee you, these people know a lot about speed running.
Right.
So,
No, the main thing was that this guy cited a few examples of papers that had statistically impossible data results.
Oh, no. And p-hacking.
Yeah, that sort of stuff happens.
There's definitely an issue.
And it's not good, right? These people there's some scurrilous people. In
particularly with social science. Like the ability to replicate social science experiments is laughable.
Did you get your uni yet, Chris?
No, it's not going to arrive until November. We should the one that they're just starting to make now. So.
Remember when I had the number in the corner for every time somebody passed behind Rob's camera? I should have another number for every ad shown for an Uni pizza oven before your Uni pizza oven arrives, because we've seen like 20 of them already.
It's gonna be a lot because I'm they're good, man. They're really good pizza ovens.
All right, we don't have a link on the list for it, but do we want to talk about Loki? We caught up there.
We can talk about Loki if you want.
Yeah, and I haven't seen the most recent one or the second half of the third one.
Yeah, we'll save it.
No, we can talk about it. Because I don't know if it's any good. Is it good? Is it worth it?
Unfortunately, I don't know what Rob is gonna say, but like the third episode was really, really bad.
It was rough.
I couldn't make it through it.
And this episode for me wasn't a whole lot better, to tell you the truth. I really want to like this show. Like we talked before, I don't know. He's the god of mischief. This whole show should be about him, double crossing people, tricking people. Every show should be about some clever way he tricks somebody into doing something, even while he's in captivity, because he's the god of trickery and mischief, right?
He's one note.
And none of that is happening in any of this show.
Yeah.
He is, I won't get into specifics so it won't ruin it, because some kind of interesting thing happens this episode.
Did you stay through the stinger?
The
post-credit reveal?
To be honest, I'm not sure if I did. We can we can talk about after if you don't want to share what it is.
Well, you saw 4 people looking down in a unique location.
Nothing.
Okay, then you need to go watch the last. You need to go fast forward through the credits and watch the last 5 seconds because there's something that I think will actually make you very happy.
All right, it's not going to improve it for you, but you should get everything out of it that you put into it.
No, actually, it kind of was awesome, but I won't.
You know what this show feels like to me? It feels like second season or first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where they would refer to the movie that had just come out. And to acknowledge they're in the same universe, even though they can't say certain things, right?
Right.
So when I'm watching Loki, I feel like, is this just, they know they're treading water until Black Widow comes out this weekend, and then next week's Loki is going to mention something about Black Widow or some stupid shit.
And I got to tell you, if that's the idea to hang all your stuff on Black Widow being a blockbuster, yikes.
Yeah.
I wish them all the luck in the world, mostly because I want the movie industry to come back. I want to be able to go and watch a movie in the theater again and have them deliver me drink and beverage or drink and food. I want the movie theater experience again. And a ton of them have closed, and they really need a good year. You know?
For sure. The movie theater.
I am just not convinced that Black Widow is going to serve it up to them.
Yeah.
So Fast 9
better than Tenet.
In their opening weekend, they made $70 million.
Yeah.
So,
that's
good.
Well, sure, but that's also a couple of weeks ago. People are a little more chill now. I think everybody, maybe things will be fine. But also, I think that the Marvel movies actually they hit a different demographic than the Fast franchise, so they have the potential. What's that?
No, they don't.
Yeah, Marvel movies skew
like
younger.
When people say that an open source developer isn't the same as an enterprise developer.
Marvel users,
how many
Marvel watchers skew younger.
Yeah, they skew younger, but
you can take your 11-year-old to a Marvel movie and be fine. You're not going to take your 11-year-old to a Fast and Furious movie and be fine, which means your repeat viewing it's a different equation.
Okay, all right, but listen, when you have a movie that is seen by 3 billion people,
for sure,
right? It's very likely some of those 3 billion people also saw Avengers Endgame.
Well, to be fair, everyone on Earth saw Avengers Endgame, even if they didn't know it. They beamed it into your sleep.
Yeah,
gesundheit, Mr. Rosebud.
Thank you.
No,
the allergies.
The reviews on I've seen a couple of reviewers for Black Widow, and it looks like it's going to be okay, but not great.
It's going to be fine.
But that said, the closest parallel I suppose that they have is it's got to be somewhere between Winter Soldier and Captain Marvel for revenue. Yeah. That's where I think.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. But then it's going to be over the denominator, the numerator. No, it's going to be over the fact that and COVID, because there's still a lot of people. Who
and so that's going to be a 33% hit, 40% hit right there.
More, but so.
And not just the people. The actual theaters that are open. There are a lot that aren't open.
Yeah. Now, well, that's the thing.
That close.
My theater, there was the theater that was close to my house, the one that if I started my stopwatch, I could walk out the door now at 12:12. I could sit down for a 12:22 screening and skip the trailers. 10 minutes, I could be in that door. That theater's gone. Now, I have to assume that an awful lot of America is in the same place where their favorite theater, their closest and most convenient theater, got closed. Does that 10% population? I don't know.
Don't know.
But that's the other thing about Fast and the Furious, right? Is that Fast 9 has been generally panned. It is regarded as a weaker Fast. So the fact that it made 70 million, would it have made 300 or would it have made 110? It's a weaker movie. Fast 5 and Fast 7 are the two that people loved.
Fast 5 was great, man.
Everybody needs to drag a safe around.
So I saw an interview with the producer of that, and he's like, "Yeah, no, we filmed all that in Puerto Rico, and we asked them if we could have like their junkers and for the safe scene. They sold them the cars for $1 a piece, basically to get them off the island.
That's
You
awesome.
know? So they're like, yeah, take them all. You know?
Right on.
Because if you were wondering, like, wow, how did they afford all that? It's like, turns out if you're willing to haul them away, you know, and take them off the island, you know, you're the guy.
You can wreck a lot of cars.
You can wreck a lot of cars.
We're gonna Blues Brothers this thing.
Like, wow.
That's an interesting problem I never really thought about, but you're right. Yeah, there's limited space there. I bet.
Well,
You don't want to fill up your landfills with old cars.
Yeah.
Or the parts you can't melt away or whatever. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Right.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen.
It was a YouTube recording with the car guy of Fast and the Furious.
There's a bunch of on the YouTubes. There's a bunch of making of videos about how they did the safe drag and stuff because it's a little car back there that somebody's driving.
Yeah.
It's so cool. All right, let's say goodbye.
All right, see ya.
Goodbye, Chris DeBona.
Uh,
Goodbye, Rob Rosbaum.
Goodbye.
I'm Rob Commander Taco Malta. This has been episode 634 of Geeks in Space. We'll see you sometime later. Bye.